Hey everyone, J-Rod Place here. I just want to make a quick guide on the Arcana because I can see how it could be a little bit confusing to newer players or people who are not used to the system. It did take me a second too to realize what was going on. The Major Arcana, you're going to get these dropped from the seasonal activities, Savathun, Spire, and the Summoning. And once you are through with those, there's a chance to unlock one of these cards. And when you come back here, they'll be glowing. You flip it over, and then it'll actually have things that are tied to it. So, for example, the Sisters, it'll say contemplate the meaning of this card to obtain the following benefits. You get key chests that will give you additional Whisper cards if available, a new daily bounty, a new card, which is final blows have a chance to drop special ammo, and that's going to apply when you're doing the summonings. During the summonings, if you have 5 of these cards, it'll say that it'll pick one at random, and then from there, once it's active, you'll get that modifier. So in this case, it's final blows have a chance to drop special ammo, which is handy, increases damage with each final blow, rapidly defeating combatants has a chance to regenerate health and shields, and final blows have a chance to create an explosion, damaging nearby enemies, which again I haven't tried these yet, so it's going to be cool to see this particular one in action, see how big is it a Curse Thrall style explosion. That's going to be something interesting to check out. But there's also daily bounties associated with this, so when you first go into the new ritual table as per se, but it's essentially like what we would have like with the deep dive when you're at the sonar station, and you'll see that there are rewards to choose, but then there's no bounties. And so the question was like, is there just no bounties? What's going on? But as you play the expansion, or the DLC in this case, you'll notice that bounties start to show up, and that's as you complete each of the cards. When you flip these cards over for the first time, I'm going to go back to the cards, they actually look like a kind of like a quest that you can pick up, and unless you actually hover over it and click your button, it won't give it to you. So like you think you have it, you flip it over, you go take off and you do an activity. Well, you don't actually have these active, and so this one required me to get kills in the seasonal activities. This one required me to do like the summoning ritual on the moon. This one here required me to do, I think this one was public events, and I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to remember what the third one was because I got them kind of done all at the same time. So if you pick them up, the first 2, you'll get them done pretty much back to back, and then these 2 as well, you'll get them done as, I think it's like complete 2 of the encounters in the summoning, and that's going to be here on the H.E.L.M. So you have the Savathun Spire, and then you have the Altars of Summoning, and so I think you have to complete 2 Altars of Summoning for one of these cards, and then once you do, it'll come back and it'll say come back to the Lectern of Divination, and this is just going to be like the Lectern of Enhancement on the moon, but this is going to be inside of the Throne World for Eris. And if you haven't seen any of the new stuff, I don't want to kind of spoil it to you, so again, some of this we're discussing is going to be spoilers. Sorry for giving that one first without actually giving a warning, but essentially, now that you've been warned, what's happened is Eris has converted herself into a pseudo-hive god. She's basically like a mini Savathun, and we're her acolyte. We are tied to her with a shard of a worm. It's inside of our staff that we're carrying while getting kills, powering her up to take on Xivu Arath head-to-head. And so the smaller ones, they're not going to necessarily carry with you into the Altar of Summonings. They're just going to do like usually one-time things. And so it says here the next weapon which you focus will give you a deep sight. And I chose the rocket launcher because I want to see kind of what cool roles the rocket launcher is going to have. It looks interesting. It's going to be probably better than the Strand rocket launcher we got for the Solstice. So I'm interested in replacing that with something that's actually powerful. So we're still waiting on the API to give us that information. But this is pretty much the guide to how to get that done. I'm going to kind of weave in a little bit of information of showing me picking him up, and so I'll see you guys in that section where you kind of see me going up to it, and I'll kind of talk through exactly what I did, showing me completing those tasks and bringing them back here. That way you can kind of make sure that you're doing the right things to start off your bounties and picking up your bounties. And again, just to go over the bounties real quick before we go into that, right now you want to save yourself your witch's keys. You get 2 of them right away. You get 1 from the table, and then you're going to get 1 from the actual season pass. And so that's going to be here. So I didn't do this because I didn't know. I just spent my keys, no problem. If you can avoid it, don't pick up your keys until you actually have these bounties. That way you can get the ritual table representation done. Now I'm going to have to go and do a few activities until I get a key. With the keys, if you hover over the key, if you're wondering how to get the keys, it'll tell you. When you go over to the key, it says to do activities. So it'll say, witch's keys to be found by completing activities through the system. And that's going to be just anything like a Crucible match, Vanguard, Nightfall, and possibly the seasonal activities. We'll see. I haven't paid attention to see if I got one of these keys dropping because I spent a lot of time in the Altar of Summoning, and with that you can get a key possibly and then spend it in the next chest. So I just have to make sure that I'm paying attention, and I'll kind of update that later on when I talk about how to take the season and how to kind of go through the seasonal loop, and I'll try to put together a video about that as well. So I'm going to catch you guys in the next section where I kind of talk through some of the video, and then from there with the outro. Like I said, just going to be a quick guide. That way you guys don't waste your time and you make sure that you're being as efficient as possible when you're trying to grind through the season. Alright, so you're going to see me here running in from the helm. This is when you land. You're just going to go straight past Crow into the doors. You're going to have a portal to Savathun's throne world. And this is going to be the Athenaeum. This is Eris's little pocket of Savathun's throne world. And from here, there's going to be two selectables that you can click on, or two tables. You're going to have the ritual table to your right, and then you're going to have the lectern. The lectern's where you're going to get the cards from. And then from there, you'll see that these are the cards. When you're done, it'll say to visit, so you can turn them in. When you turn them in, it's just like any quest. It tells you how they work. You just hit accept, and then you start getting the bonus from that. If there's like a new bounty, for example, or if there's something that's going to be tangible outside of the altars of summoning. And you can see here, this is me kind of going through and kind of reading how it exactly works with the 5 cards and the random changes. And that'll come up once for each time that you have ones that have 2. I had 2 there. Now, again, where I made my first mistake, once I actually clicked on the bounty, I didn't actually pick it up. So in this case, we'll see when you click on the bounty, it says acquire, right? So you think, oh, I'm getting the bounty. Then it's got another acquire. And if you don't pay attention, you don't click it a second time, you're not going to actually pick it up and get the quest for it. Because at first I was kind of confused, like, where is this quest that it's talking about? Like, when do we get them? But the whole time, all you have to do is just click acquire again. And so what you'll do is you'll click it again, and you'll see there it says the adherent, new quest. It'll tell you to gather insight from public events, and so you just go do public events, and then you get 1 point for a normal clear and 2 points for heroic clear when it comes to insight. This is going to be the Harbinger. I believe this is the one that takes me to the Altar of Sorrows. And so from there, once you click on it, you'll see that I need to do the Altar of Sorrows in order to get the insight. And with the insight, it's each time you get, I think, a killing blow on the nightmares that come out of the Altar of Sorrows portals, you get 1 insight per, and then you have to clear, I believe it said 5 waves. And so once you've cleared your waves, once you've gotten your 15 kills, your 15 final blows on the nightmares that come out of the portals, from there it'll complete for you. And then when you complete that, and you come back, you just come back and click them again a second time, just like you did the first 2. You're going to hit enter, you're going to hit enter, boom, you're going to have all 4, just like I did when the very beginning of this video where you see I had all 4 collected, and I'll have 3 bounties by the time that I get done with it, so that's where you should be at if you catch up to my progress. So that's pretty much it. This is the Season Pass. It's just going to be going through the Season Pass. And again, just a quick guide, how to make sure you get these, you don't waste time, you don't take off and do a bunch of activities and you don't get progress. So make sure that you're picking them up a second time. Make sure that you're actually getting credit for those. And I'll see you guys in the next one.